All right, bringing the noise when sport meets sound. This, to me, is probably the most fantastic panel we've done in the history of Sport Beats in the last 3 years. So let's get roll call rocking and rolling. I got my man, Vineet, come on stage. Vineet is the CMO of Chime and recently promoted to Chief Growth Officer. Vineet is one of the most established CMOs in the industry, having been the CMO for Walgreens Boots, Ancestry, and so much more. Now he's called San Francisco home, rocking the joint at Chime. Just penned a monumental deal with the Portland Fire, WNBA. Give it up for Vineet. All right. All right, next up, Mike Van. My brother from another mother. What'd you call me earlier?
Brother from another mother.
Yeah, that's right. Mike is the CEO of Billboard. Mike has breathed fresh oxygen into the lungs of Billboard in the last 2-3 years, elevating to CEO in record time. Billboard is now a record brand. Give it up, global brand. Give it up for Mike Van.
Thank you.
All right. It's to my man, Paul Rabil, one of the best lacrosse players on the planet. Recently, the best. And recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, founder of the Premier Lacrosse League, founder of the Women's Lacrosse League. Pay attention to Paul. Big things are coming on screen and off. Last but certainly not least, all right? This is when childhood fandom meets professionalism. That's right, the one and only METHOD man, actor, rapper, producer, entrepreneur, and give it up, relationship goals, Amazon Prime, #1 this week.
Yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, I'm going to turn this over to you.
All right. So I have the honor and challenge of moderating this panel, which I think is going to be a bit of a free-for-all. So this panel is way more than games and songs. It's about the confluence of music, sports, and fandom. So we're going to talk about all things related to that. But just to get us started, I thought this would be a good little question. What's a song that immediately takes you back to a specific sports moment or era? Like a song that just brings back memories related to a very specific sports moment or era. What's on your mind?
Oh, Meth, you want to go first?
I don't really have one, but the only song that comes to mind is, We Will Rock You. Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
Classic for sure.
Classic for sure.
What you got, Mike?
I know for me, being from LA, Lakers, playoff season, 98, 99. For real, and again, I'm not saying this because you're on stage with me, but it's definitely the Rock Wilder for sure. They would play that a lot. So if you're not familiar with that track, that's a classic track with Meth and Redman, iconic.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Man, I agree with Queen. I would say that for me, growing up watching hoops, the NBC chime that's now back when the NBA was on, that was iconic, watching MJ. And then I would say, aside from growing up and idolizing this dude, I would mix hip hop with hard rock, and I listened to System of a Down quite a bit. They would get me going in the gym. So even when I was older as a 35-year-old, still trying to play at a high level, I would take myself back to that era and listen to songs like Spiders and real hardcore shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, one more. Never mind.
Yeah, go.
No, you can say it.
God, do it.
Please go. No? Okay, moving on.
Cool.
Matter of fact, Chicago Bears rap, Super Bowl rap.
That's it.
Boom.
That's the drop right there. So look, interesting about Super Bowl. Super Bowl used to be about just the halftime show, right? Music moments used to be about just that. But now with TikTok, all the platforms, that moment is extending way beyond just that halftime show. How's sort of platform culture and these extensions outside of the halftime show, how's that changing music culture, changing sort of how some of these moments live on way beyond just that halftime show? How's that changing for you guys and what you guys do?
Well, I think when you put yourself into the seat of an artist, right, and working with a lot of artists, they see this as massive opportunity to expand their IP and the work that they have that they plan on launching. And so it's not just about the day of or the week before or week after. We're talking about time frames of 3, 4, 5, 6 months to have activity, to create content, to have exposure, and to extend their reach, to extend what it is that they're working on or what they want to release. And so, you know, it's an exciting time, I think, for artists because they can literally own engagement and attention over a longer period of time. I think it's an amazing time for brands because brands can align with that, support that, as well as tell their story during that extended time frame. And then for media brands like us, it just gives us a heck of more content to capture attention. So it's widened the aperture across the board.
Sounds totally different. Well, you guys.
I agree with him.
I mean, there's something special about the Super Bowl halftime show. I mean, I study the history of sports quite a bit, try to figure out what's next and how I can help grow men's and women's lacrosse at the professional level. So I think about the entertainment marketing division that Don Garber helped build with Constance Schwartz in the early 90s and first casted Michael Jackson at the first Super Bowl halftime show, which was considered a risk. Now it's peak viewership. Kendrick Lamar had like 134 million people watching him. So it does better than the game, which I think is sort of the point of this panel, right? How sports and music integrate so well. Athletes feel inspired by music to perform at a high level. Musicians feel connected and inspired by athletes and what they do on the field. And sometimes there's a crossover, sometimes there's not, but it comes to life on weekends like this.
Perfect answers. I don't even have to say anything.
Else to add?
I'm good.
Okay, Paul, I got one for you. So you're creating a sports league, the PLL, obviously. I know, Matthew, you're part of that in some ways as well. How did you think, I mean, getting attention is the hardest thing nowadays, right? That's got to be the hardest thing about building that league. How did you think about music at the core or a way to get attention as you were thinking about the PLL? How are you kind of integrating
Well, I think the key is telling stories authentically and thinking about narrative. And a lot of times the narrative can be taken from you. And lacrosse, is a game that Meth played growing up. And we work on a partnership, speaking authentically, to contribute and give back to the community. So we work with Harlem Lacrosse together. And then in 2020, Meth cut a track for us called Boom. That's sort of the PLL anthem. And it enshrined us. You know what I mean? Because music lasts forever.
It does last forever.
And to have someone that has penetrated the world culturally with his music, with his relationships in the communities, to then partner with an emerging league like the PLL, that's what sound can do to sport. And man, we're just forever grateful. And my job as one of our founders is to drive value back to shareholders and communities, and I just hope I can make Meth proud.
Nah, you did that. He did that. When
Straight up.
When I was asked to do the record, it made sense because I played the sport. So I had a lot of little inside information and terminologies that I could use when I was writing the bars for it. And it came together pretty nice, very neat. Even the hook. Anybody that's played sports is very familiar with that hook. It can go through baseball, basketball, football, lacrosse, but now that I did that song, it belongs to the PLL exclusively, period.
Y'all better listen.
Oh, they ain't gotta
Boom.
listen. Go ahead, do your thing. Y'all keep fraternizing.
What do you, how's Billboard sort of get integrated in some of these platforms, some of this kind of culture in Billboard and sports? How do you guys get integrated there?
Well, first of all, our view as it relates to music and sports is that music overall is the soundtrack to human nature, is it not, or human activity. Music is omnipresent everywhere. It is the walk-on song. It is the inspiration that makes you want to train when you don't want to train. It is the celebration soundtrack. It is the wind down. And so for us, for Billboard, we celebrate achievement every day, right? Every week we have our charts. We literally quantify and qualify achievement. And so we understand that means something obviously to artists, but also that completely aligns it with sports and with athletes and what they want to achieve, right? And so quite often when we're working with artists, a lot of times, they're hanging out with athletes, and athletes want to hang out with artists because they all want to be each other. And so
And we got the best groupies, that's why. Just FYI.
y'all just have more fun, that's all. But we recognize that whole dynamic. And so we want to make sure that anytime we're working with artists, anytime we're highlighting achievement, anytime we're talking about music or obviously music and sports, we try to capture all of that.
All right, cool. Hey, Matt, so, I remember growing up and, to this day, Allen Iverson getting on the scene, really embracing hip-hop culture. It went way beyond the music. It went into culture, style, confidence, how athletes approach the game. What's your reflection on that? Like, what really happened when athletes started to embrace the culture of music way beyond just kind of the surface level song?
I remember watching ESPN. What was his name? Stuart
Scott.
Scott.
Rest in peace.
Bars.
He did a lot as far as, with the league and putting hip-hop references and things like that.
That's right.
We go from that to now someone like Ari Melber doing the same thing with news, so showing the correlation between these lyrics and the political things that are going on today. So I think it's always a beautiful thing to incorporate not just the idea, but the soul of the music. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I can comment that's different is sport and music, I think are two of the sole industries that can bring communities together from different backgrounds, socioeconomics, race, sexual orientation, because they get on with what they're listening or what they're watching. It's their hometown team, it's their hometown artist. And we need that now more than ever, where we are sort of factioned into bubbles via social media. So to find something that can unify us and to see it match in sport and music at a Super Bowl or at games that you go to. I really love when teams and leagues go above and beyond and give the athletes or empower the athletes to send the stadium their favorite song in advance, so when they score a goal, their favorite song plays. Or you see it in baseball sometimes when you step up to the plate, you get 6 seconds of a track that inspires that hitter. That type of stuff is what leagues are trying to do more and more of. We give our athletes, or we work with our athletes to build Spotify playlists so our fans can go in and listen to what Miles Jones is listening to as he gets ready for a big game. Stuff like that, where you can go above and beyond and connect with your fans in ways that only athletes know how to do.
Yeah, that's cool. Mike, one question I have for you is, obviously the Billboard charts, super well-known asset for you guys, for your brand. Those charts used to be kind of like a popularity thing, but I feel like it goes way beyond that right now, like fandom,
Completely.
culture, community. How's that sort of changing kind of the spirit of these charts? Like, what does it take to really get on the chart? I feel like it's way more than hits of a button, playlists, things like that. And how's fandom playing a role in that?
No, thanks for asking that, because fan communities definitely play a role in that. So the charts are this. Basically, we have proprietary relationships with all data points across the board, meaning from the labels, from the DSPs, from everywhere. We collect all that data. It gets synthesized into the charts on a weekly basis that literally not only takes into account streaming, sales, concerts, everything, the full spectrum of data, right? And so it's a true barometer of reflecting really what is literally what fans are engaging in on a weekly basis. Now, that being said, is it completely everything? No, because there are a million other artists out there that are just as dope as whoever's number one or number two on the Hot 100 or Top 200 on a weekly basis. And so we just use that as one part of informing not only what we do on the chart, what we feature on the charts, but all the content that we create, the award shows that we put on, the artists that we feature, whether they be legacy ones or new ones for that matter. It allows us to celebrate music and artistry across the entire spectrum.
Right. What's your best memory, favorite Billboard chart topper? What's your favorite memory there?
In terms of just in general,
All time.
God, man, there's too many to mention, literally. But since I got kids now and they're really into K-pop Demon Hunters, that's a huge memorable moment because again, it was such a thing that came out of nowhere, and everyone completely into it. And so for me, that was super memorable for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Matt, one thing is, everyone's chasing these viral moments now. It's like, how do I get viral? How does that work? From your perspective, you know, what's the difference between a moment that sticks and a moment that's sort of just fleeting and disappears by Monday? What does it take to create real moments that stick?
Those dances are gone by Monday. The viral dances and stuff like that. Unless it's my music, then we can go longer than that. But the viral moments that stick, I think soldiers coming home by surprise, things like that.
Yep.
I just recently saw something where you can get these personalized love songs to your loved one. And I've seen people playing them, and you know the person is listening, but they are not catching on yet that it's a personal song. Beautiful moments. Sometimes I go in tears and shit like that from stuff like that. But yeah, I would say those viral moments last a bit longer.
I would say, I mean, here, someone gave me that to give you, yeah. So I would say one of the things I've learned from watching Meth and other artists of his caliber and feel as an athlete is that those who pursue great lengths tend to ignore outcomes. And so there's a culture and a race towards virality never works if you're not doing something that inspires you, that you enjoy. And it challenges artists as athletes equally in today's culture to, it's almost like a blurred line of what matters more, attention or the craft. And the craft always has to matter more. And then let the outcome be the outcome.
I got to ask you, like, a lot of brands in here want to partner with athletes. What's the biggest mistake you think brands make when partnering with athletes who deeply care about culture, right? Like, what's the biggest mistake a brand can make when partnering with an athlete?
Not ask them questions about what matters to them.
They have values, not aligning on values first.
That's it.
Right? Like, I think this in general. Like,
Yeah.
like if you're not aligned in values, no matter what you do or what you are, then what are you doing? Then everything becomes inauthentic or nothing is real. So I think brands that are, first of all, I think not aware of what they're about, not aware of what their values are, and they're not outwardly, you know, I think expressive about it and clear about it, yeah, then there's no foundation there. So if you have a misalignment in values first and foremost, it's just not going to work.
I mean, all money ain't good money, but you know, depending on what the brand, I personally will not mess with a brand if it doesn't fit my brand. Like, I would never do alcohol because I don't drink alcohol. So why would I be pushing an alcoholic
Completely
product?
fake if you did.
No, yeah, it doesn't fit my persona.
Right.
But if we selling bud, yeah, absolutely, sign me up, pretty much.
We'll
Period.
say blunts and, you know, CBD products and
It has to fit. I don't like CBD, but it has to fit my brand. I'm part of the
apologies, THC
cannabis
products.
culture.
We are in
and
California. It's completely legal.
there's a lot of healing properties in cannabis.
100% there are.
Yes.
Yes, therapeutic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would say when we first started working together, it was never about a deal first. I think if you approach an athlete or an artist on a deal, you might do a transaction, but it'll end there. So we met a few times. Ellis is here, who works closely with Meth. We had some Zooms, and really they just got to know each other to make sure the vibe was right and that what we were doing is in line with what Meth's doing. And then from there, you figure out something that works. And just be conscious of who the talent is. If they're a creative, you know, let them create the story. You know, ask them what they want to do and what production companies they worked with and how involved they want to be versus, you know, telling them what to do.
Right.
On that front, what are some of the sort of iconic sort of brand and athlete or musician partnerships that you guys look to as like setting the standard? What do you guys look at right now?
Hell yeah.
I love the And One campaign that was going on when And One was getting big. They had Nike, Adidas, all of them shaking in their boots. Beautiful moments.
What do you think made that magical? Like, what is it that was unique about
Well,
that?
I think we've been talking about it. It's the beautiful mesh of hip hop and athletics and the love that each genre has for each other. I mean, that Allen Iverson joint with Jadakiss, that might have been Nike. No, it was Reebok. That was Reebok.
Yeah.
Guess where they got it from? And One.
Yeah. I mean, I love Nike's history as just a sports marketer. What they've done has been amazing, and the Jordan brand. But I think about, and I know that that my friends and my partners here at Stagwell and everyone from 72 and Sunny and Anomaly and all that, but I'll tell a quick story about Nike's tagline, "Just Do It." So it came from, it was tasked to Dan Wyden at the time before he started Wyden Kennedy. He was working in Portland with Nike. And they were trying to figure out something that was really visceral, that connected with the audacity of signing the best athletes in the world and sort of like that feeling of putting it all on the line, life or death. And so there was this story that Dan heard about a guy who was basically a hitman in the early 1900s, was on Murder Row, and he was set up for the electrocution chair. And his last words were, "Just do it." And then they electrocuted him.
Damn. That's morbid.
That's some like real deep cut marketing shit.
Well, that's morbid.
You know what I mean? To be like, we have a hitman that faced death and just said, "Let's do it." You know, I think those were his actual words, "Let's do it." And then Dan added, "Just do it." But that's powerful. You know, I love the story behind the story behind the story.
How about you, Vineet? Like, what would you say is your good example?
I don't know, man. You guys said already, I think the way Nike authentically wants to tell the athlete's story first, right? I think that's what makes it really unique. It's not about kind of brand and the commercial opportunity in. It's the athlete's story out. And I think that's what they've always done so well, you know? And I couldn't agree more. How do you guys like balance when brands are approaching you, kind of the commercial opportunity that's present in front of you versus the authenticity? Like, how do you sort of make trade-offs on that? How do you think about that? Do you just turn down something that could be a huge commercial opportunity? How do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a league, the way we try to approach things is can this fit authentically, and we kind of view it as the endemic space. So historically in sports, if you're a hooper, endemics is footwear, and in lacrosse, it's your stick and glove and helmet. But because we're actually building the leagues, the PLL and the WLL, we can work with different partners, whether it's, you know, an operator in the way that we set up events, or airline that gets our athletes to and from games. So we try to take an approach that every brand partnership can work. How can that work authentically with us and our mission? And then I would say from an execution standpoint, because we are wholly owned and single entity, we offer brands the ability to access league IP, team IP, marketing rights to players, on-site activation with fans. ESPN's our distribution partner. A lot of them do branded entertainment with us. So as maybe a light heavyweight in a big heavyweight division of professional sports, we have to do things differently and provide our brand partners with more than what they can get with the big four.
Cool. Cool. Nothing. That's awesome. What? Last question. What's your thoughts on who are you rooting for in Super Bowl this week? Who's your pick? What are you guys going for?
I don't have a dog in the race, to be honest with you. So I just want to watch a good game and a good halftime show.
Who you guys got?
Go Benito. Team Benito.
Let's go.
Let's go. Benito all the way. No, I
guys-
mean, for real, I want to, like, this moment is really, truly special to have someone like Bad Bunny at his caliber to come off of Album of the Year and another award as well at the Grammys. And, you know, this album, I don't know if you guys have listened to it. I strongly suggest you do. It is probably one of the most incredible albums I've listened to all year. And he is actually genuinely an amazing person, too, on top of that, right? And so no one more deserving for this kind of platform. And I know for a fact my family, as well as my colleagues and friends, were all very much looking forward to watching him perform.
Sounds good.
Seahawks or Patriots? Yeah, I think Bad Bunny the real one. Just being honest, you heard? So, don't matter to me. Jets ain't there yet, but we will be, damn it.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I mean, I want to act cool like these guys, but Crafts are investors. Bill Belichick played lacrosse, you know, so maybe the Pats.
Nice. So we're gonna close it out here. Any final thoughts around sort of, look, if we got a room full of marketers, room full of brands, you know, I think what happens a lot is athletes are trying to extend their careers. I think artists kind of think about how do they not lose relevancy. What's the biggest advice you have, being folks that have really extended kind of your own brands, your own relevancy, to give to advice to brands around how do you kind of last a lifetime, way beyond when you're working on it?
I mean, I still feel like I'm just getting started in my career, although I've achieved like whatever I've been able to achieve, but I feel like I like a white belt all over again, like in a karate class with like, you know, 6-year-olds or something. But for me, it's just get very clear on what matters to you the most and just stay focused on that. And that's it.
Cool. You guys?
Like he said, whatever fits your lifestyle, your brand, and it makes sense, I say go for it. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say story first, format second. You know, we had a conversation on virality, and then every platform and all distribution is a different format. And we can get, especially as marketers, pulled into format first, but get the narrative, get the story right. The athletes bring it to life, then figure out how it can go on the respective distribution channels.
All right, so with that, I think we'll kind of close it out. Thanks so much, guys. It's going to be a huge weekend.
Respect.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
all.